This is the Geek edition of the full suspension versus hardtail. What is more fun video? So let's talk about our bikes, how we set them up, and get into the nitty gritty. My bike is a Scott Genius 700 tuned. It costs £6,999, that's the retail. So we know mountain biking can be expensive, doesn't have to be, but you can throw a lot of money at things. But what do you get on these premium bikes? Well, there's lots of stuff goes into making these things. Lots of R&D, you've got loads of carbon fibre on this bike. So it's carbon front end and back end, linkage. I've got a one-piece carbon bar and stem. I've got a lockout, so that's pretty cool. It's 150mm travel bike, but it goes down to 100 and a full lockout on the front and rear. So it's a really versatile bike, and you do have to pay for these things. So this bike can run two different size wheels. At the minute, I've got the DT Swiss M1825 29er wheels in there. You can put some 27.5 plus in here. You've got that flip link there. So when you swap the wheels out, you just flip that over. So again, it makes it really versatile. All internal routing, so I've got a drop post, I've got the cable that goes to my rear shock, the rear brake hose, the rear derailleur, all goes through the bike, nice and smooth, really great looking frame. Again, premium drivetrain on this bike, so I've got that SRAM Eagle, that massive cassette, the 50 tooth on the rear. Also got a carbon fibre crank, so SRAM XO1, all premium stuff of course. Kashima fork on this. Did have a Kashima shock, but I actually scratched the shaft on that, so it's got replaced. All that means that this bike is super capable, 150mm travel bike, and it weighs in at 26 pounds, so lighter than Blake's bike. All the latest mountain bike tech, it's got boost spaced hubs, it's got a beautiful carbon fibre frame, look at that bar and stem. This is the pinnacle of modern mountain bike technology. Strong, light, cheap, pick two of them. Strong and light.
Yeah, Neil. Right, yours is lighter, yours is more money, but mine's more affordable. Mine is £1,699, it's £30. That is 13.7 kilos. It's not as light as yours, but this is an aggressive hardtail. It's got 140mm travel up front. It has no gumpers on the rear, so it's super simple. It's minimalistic, nothing to go wrong on the rear. It's aluminium. This is the nuke-proof Scout, 27.5 plus size. There's no carbon fiber on this bike. I have a drop post so I can slam that saddle when it comes to those rough sections descending out there on the trail. I've got these 2.6 Conti de Baron tyres, so I've got a little bit more give in these tyres when it comes to a bit more of a rough terrain. Plus it's got quite a bit of grip there. Also, the benefits about this is you can let down the pressures. You can run a little bit of a low pressure in these tyres, so you can get a lot more grip on that bike. When it comes to riding a bit of a rough section trail like what we did in the previous video where we put these two head to head, I don't have any carbon, so I can use this bike. It doesn't matter if I get a rock that hits up, because it's not carbon, it's not going to affect it, it's just going to bend it. And plus what I've got on this bike is boost front and rear, so they're giving this bike a lot more rigidity, so you can push it a lot more, so you don't feel it flex as much out on the trail. Okay, suspension wise in my setup on this bike, well, look at that, super simple, no rear suspension. But up the front, I've got these RockShox Revelations. They're 140mm travel, so there's a lot of travel there. I've got them set up really plush because I haven't got them locked out like I would if I had it on my full suspension bike, because I want the front suspension to work, because I'm going through a lot of physical effort down a trail, trying to guide this thing as fast as I can down the trail and have as much fun as possible. So I want that as plush as possible. Okay, my drivetrain on this bike is Shimano SLX, and it's 1x11. And if I was running a 2x up the front, that means I would have an extra bigger sprocket up the front. Because my BB is quite low and it's an aggressive hardtail, if I had a big sprocket up the front, I'll be smacking all those rocks. So talk about that front chainring. I've got a 32 tooth sprocket up the front. I feel like on the climbs it's perfect. I can just spin out, climb, I can get up some super steep situations, but now it's got a bit drier. I feel like I'm spinning out on that 32 tooth, so maybe a 34 would be beneficial when it comes to a bit of dry terrain, but in the winter, well, the 32 tooth will come in handy. So a few weeks ago I did a video on how clipped being clipped into your bike can be super beneficial on a hardtail when it comes to rough sections. Well, and I said I'll be having them on my bike. Well, I haven't actually got them on my bike at the moment because I was a bit scared going down some of those rough sections. I thought being clipped into it, I really wanted to get my foot out quick as possible because it was rough and I'm not used to being clipped in. So I'm running flats on this bike. But there's one thing I really want to point out is that this bike is super rigid. Meaning it's super stiff. So when you're pushing it in the corners, the bike is rigid. It's not twisting, it's not bending, which I feel like when you have a rear suspension, you can feel the bike twist and move underneath you when you're riding it super aggressively. Whereas this, it's just stiff, it's rigid, it's there.
There is a quick bike check of the bikes we rode in the video. Full suspension with hardtail. What is more fun? If you've not seen it, click the link over there for that one. What is more fun?
The hardtail.
I think they're both fun.
Yeah, I think they're both fun.
Although
Bikes
I
are fun.
I like this one, it's great. Hit that sub button and give us a thumbs up. We'd love that.